The first assignment on Google Classroom is going to be learning the scales. Now, some of you are already familiar with the scales, and they are going to be very necessary because it'll make it so much easier for you to learn the songs. Some of the songs are a little more difficult than what we were used to in the classroom, but for some of you, they might actually be okay. But nevertheless, I recommend that you learn those scales. There are not that many. Let me give you an example. If you learn the scale, you're learning basically all the notes that are contained within the song that you're trying to learn. For example, for Superman and Lone Ranger, you're going to need the G major scale. For A Whole New World, the Titanic theme, I'm actually posting the song version and the intro, the instrumental intro for the Titanic song, My Heart Will Go On. And those, you're going to need the D major scale. And I'm also uploading Harry Potter. I've had a lot of requests from you for Harry Potter, so here he goes. For that one, you're going to need G minor. And the Imperial March, Darth Vader's entrance theme, that's one of my favorites. That is in B minor. So actually, you only really need to learn 3 scales for that. Because I don't know if you knew this, but each scale can be used for 2 different keys. One scale, for example, G, the G major scale can be used for E minor songs as well. The D major scale, you can also use it for B minor. And B minor is the key for the Imperial March. Also, B flat, that's one of the scales. B flat can be used as a G minor scale. And G minor is the key for Harry Potter. So it is very useful to know scales. You can work on many things playing a scale, such as vibrato. You can also work on your staccato and different other bowing techniques. So scales are a standard practice and warm-up for music. The more scales and the more octaves you can play on those scales, the better you will be as a player in general. Okay, here comes the D major scale. You can also use this scale to play in songs that require B minor. It has 2 notes that are sharp, that's F sharp and C sharp. So you just have to remember that when you're sight reading, you might have some extra notes changed somewhere along in the song, but for the most part, you're going to be needing those notes. Now, in this particular scale, as you're seeing on the screen, on our score, I only wrote 1 octave of the D major scale because the D major scale can go higher than that, but we don't need those notes. I actually wrote the notes that you're going to need for the songs that we're going to do in this course. So you're going to need a standard 1 octave D major scale plus a few extra notes. So I'm going to show you what those are. Let's start with just the standard D major scale. The first note, as you see on the screen, is just the open D string. Next note, E on the D string, first finger. Then F sharp, second finger, D string. Then third finger, D string. Now take a look at the shape my fingers make. The first and second fingers are more or less separate because I am following the first and second stickers, and then the second and third finger are super close. So keep this in mind when you're playing it. Let's move on. Next note is your A open string. Next note, your first finger, B note on the A string. Next note, your C sharp on the red sticker, second finger, A string.
the last note of the octave. Remember, the octave term means 8 notes. So this is the 8th note we're going to see. Third finger added to the A string, blue sticker, super close to the second finger. Notice that also on the A string, there is a separation between the first and second fingers, and the second and third fingers are super close together. Okay, so that's the first octave. Now, here's the extra notes that you're going to see. Open E string. Then first finger F sharp on the E string. Then second finger G note on the E string. And finally, third finger on the E string for a high A. Okay, so those are the extra notes on the E string. There's also some extra notes on the G string. And by the way, all of these also belong to the D major scale. You can also use them on the D major scale. So moving on to the G string for the extra notes, there's open G. Then A on the G string, that's your first finger, aligned with the yellow sticker or the first sticker. B note on the G string, second finger. Third finger, C sharp on the G string as well. And those are the extra notes you will need. So I'm going to play the regular octave with half notes. Then I'm going to play the extra notes. And that's the D major scale that you're going to need for the songs that we have this course. Okay, so here we are looking at the layout of the G major scale. Remember that you can use the G major scale for E minor as well. They share the same notes exactly. The only difference is that a song in E minor starts on an E. You use exactly the same notes, including the F sharp. And you might end on an E. It depends on the song really, but on the G major scale, you would be starting or ending on a G. That's the only difference. And certain notes will be emphasized differently depending on the scale. So here we go. Let me show you how to play the G major scale on the violin so you can see the distance between the fingers. So the first note is easy. That's just your open G string. Okay, next note, I'm highlighting it with green on the staff. Your next note is your first finger on the G string, A. Your next note, second finger, B on the G string. Next note, third finger, C on the G string as well. Now, notice how close the third finger and the second finger really are. I am aligning them with the red sticker and the blue sticker. If you just have stripes, it'll be your second stripe and your third stripe. Okay, moving on. The next note, open D string. Then first finger, E. Staying on the D string as well. Okay, next note, same string, second finger, F sharp. Next note, really close, third finger, D string. That's your G note. Forgot to highlight it on this chord, so here it goes again. Okay, moving on. Open A string. First finger, A string. That's your B note. Next note. Second finger, really close to your first finger on the A string. That is C natural. Next note, third finger on the blue sticker, A string, D. Next note, E string open. Next note, first finger, yellow sticker, E string. That's F sharp. Next note, second finger, E string, very close to the first finger. Forgot to highlight it again. That's your G on the E string. Okay, so now I'm going to play it. Let's get the metronome started. I'm going to play them in half notes. Now this is pretty much the way that it would be great if you could play it on the video that you are going to submit or play it in class. Although you could do it slower if you like, but all the notes should be clear and the fingers to keep the same finger arrangement as closely as you can. Depending on how long you have been playing the violin, this might be easier or harder, but do your best to copy the distance in which I place my fingers. Okay, here's the B flat major scale. Now this B flat major scale can also be used as a G minor because it has exactly the same key signature, meaning you're gonna have to watch for a B flat and an E flat. When you are sight reading music in these keys, make sure that every time that you are reading a B or an E, that you play them flat. So I'll show you exactly what that is if you've never played this scale before. So let's start with where you're going to place your finger, because on this one, it's a little different. We are used to placing our fingers right on top of the stickers, but in this case, the second finger is going to have to be scooted over your second finger and place it as close as you can to the first finger. So this means that the second finger is going to be somewhere in between the yellow sticker and the red sticker. So this is the correct place for your first note, which is a B flat. So B flat sounds like this. So let's start with the second finger, G string, B flat major scale. Okay, next note. The next note is pretty ordinary. Third finger, right by the blue sticker, G string. C natural. Next note. Open D string. Next note. Really low first finger. I am not going to place it by the yellow sticker this time. You have to slide it a little behind the yellow sticker. So it's somewhere in between the yellow sticker and the nut of the violin. This is where the strings rest on the little notch that guides them to the peg box. So this is the E flat. First finger, really low on the D string. Next note, F natural. In this case, you're also going to place the second finger right in between the yellow sticker and the red sticker. Somewhere in the middle. That's F natural. Next note, G natural. This is on the blue sticker. Third finger on the blue sticker. D string. Next note, easy. Open A string. Next note, really low first finger. That means not on the yellow sticker. Slide it just behind it. B flat on the A string, first finger. Next note, C natural, right in between the yellow sticker and the red sticker. Second finger. Next note, third finger, blue sticker, A string. Next note, E flat with the pinky super close to the third finger on the A string. Now this is a very common mistake that we all make when we learn this scale. Don't play the open E string because we already played an E flat. So the E flat takes care of the E department per se on this scale. So all you gotta do is skip to the F natural, which is played by your first finger, E string, but really low behind the yellow sticker. Next note, G natural, second finger in between the first sticker and the second sticker. Next note, A natural, blue sticker, E string, third finger. Next note, and last, fourth finger, really close to the third, B flat on the E string. Okay, so now I'm going to play this at 80 beats per minute on your metronome, half notes. And that's it for the B flat major scale.